G'day YouTubers, and thank you for tuning in to today's video on YouTube. And today we are seeing a massive graveyard of nasturtiums. Now, as you remember, the nasturtiums were growing so healthily throughout the course of summer. Well, actually, we started planting those during around spring. And then, of course, yes, as summer approached, man, the nasturtiums were peaking. But look what has happened to the rest of what we've seen so far during November. It seems like during, yes, early to mid-autumn, they were straightforward still healthy because, well, as you can definitely tell, the nasturtiums, they're looking like they're all dying. The geraniums, they're trying their best to blossom out, of course. And, of course, yes, I can start to see more nasturtiums, which apparently they all look like they are almost coming to their death point. In fact, I'm also starting to see lots and lots of seeds, probably about hundreds if not thousands of seeds right over in my backyard garden. There's just a massive crowding of that, of course. And yes, as the nasturtiums start to die off, I can start to see an abundance of seeds. Let's learn that, yes, they will self-seed over the courses during, let's just say, as I can really tell about, it seems like, hey, throughout the courses of, let's just say, spring, summer, and autumn, I think the nasturtiums have been growing. And then, of course, here's around mid to late summer, I'm starting to see masses and masses of seeds that I can start to see why the plants have started to really end up as being the most hyperly successful plant to ever grow in the backyard. And I tell you what, it's been quite a massive year for nasturtiums for me because, as you can tell, I've been growing a huge stack of nasturtiums, and that is just massive. Like, there's just so many of them that I would never ever believe into my eyes that, hey, they were straightforward growing oh so well. And boy, I think I should have worn gloves. And yes, it is freezing cold outside. But obviously, yes, November is of course a decaying season because, it feels like, hey, oh man, good to see the shovels, eh? Mr. Shovel and all. And it is freezing cold, as you can definitely tell. Of course it actually is. I can definitely feel it. Yes, what's with the fire trucks outside? Was it ambulance or police car? I can't really tell. Obviously, we've got more nasturtiums. The cosmos, they are also dying as well. So it just goes to show you that over the course of this week, I should have actually filmed during at least on Monday or Tuesday of this week, and then I'll get a much better boost of uploads on YouTube. But I just thought, nah, that'll be way too much. And yes, over the course, throughout, let's just say, some, of course, as you can see, as we're going up towards winter, look at the amount of nasturtiums. They are really straightforward taking over. And then also look at the cosmoses. They were also straightforward blossoming, but look at that. Look at that, guys. This is, of course, the death of our flowers. This zinnia here is straightforward dying. Now, I've never had the time to actually look at a zinnia seed head. I hardly haven't seen it. There's another dead zinnia flower here. It just goes to show you on how completely and utterly, if not massively different, this actually feels. And that's kind of sad because obviously, that's a lovely, is that a female house sparrow? Or is it a dunnock? I can't really tell. Quite a nice bird, I can just see it rustling through the hedgerows. Quite beautiful, isn't it? The birds are on their way to the backyard garden because obviously there's plenty amount of food here. We've got berries. I might have to start refueling the bird feeders because it is still freezing cold. Even if it's totally and utterly mild, well, again, I wouldn't say it's that uncommon to see birds that are just straightforward singing earlier than usual because it seems like, hey, while winter's getting milder, it does feel like spring might be straightforward felt much more earlier and sooner than later. Interesting somehow. I'm starting to see lots and lots of nasturtiums. Yeah, you can see how many of them. They are literally dying everywhere. Of course, it's not that great to see. Sunflowers as well. Yeah, you can definitely see why I'm seeing a massive grave of flowers. You can definitely see why. There's just so many of them. But the nasturtiums, man, they are actually doing really, really well. It just proves to you of how much I have to really offer for. You know what I should do? Maybe around springtime, after the cold depths of winter, the nasturtiums are they're basically trying to relive and revive. Of course, you can start to see some of them that are just straight for protruding upwards. But basically, most, if not all, of the nasturtiums, as you can start to see, look at that. They've all just started to go flat, and that's a sign that they're all dying because of the cold weather that we're facing. Been a lot of frost, a lot of chilly weather, of course. We had like temperatures down to about -3, -5 degrees, and I mean, man, that was ridiculously cold for this time of the year. I'd normally associate it for being a lot more milder, but obviously, hey, climate change might probably tell a different telltale story of all things. Strange when you start to see so much of it dying right over in the background. It's not a great sight to see, but that is just how it actually is. Seasons have got to come forward. They all hardly have to come to change. That's what it is. With seasons, you can't always have summer all year round. I'd like to, but sadly, again, more zinnias are straight for dying right over the background here, eh? I'm surprised, hey, I'm starting to see a massive complete change of what I'm seeing in my backyard garden. Yes, I can't see any signs of other things that are right over in the backyard garden. And actually, I might as well just have a bit of a tour around and look at the blackberries. Most, if not all of them, have been left untouched. It's a bit strange, isn't it? It's quite weird. Over the course of, I think, if you remember summer of 2025, that was an incredibly awesome summer because we had one of the hottest, if not one of the driest summers on record. Not as record-breaking as 2022, but we had a long, hot summer, and it was also very dry. We nearly had a drought. I think we actually did get a drought so far, which is just so crazy. But anyways, yeah, we've got some blackberries there. Still thinking about trying to trim off all of these nasty-looking bits of thorns and spikes right over at the hedgerows there. You see these ones there? They need to be taken down. But nevertheless, hey, that is going to be about it, guys. So that's my gardening tour that I've got so far. I'm going to straightforward leave it here, guys. I'm going to go ahead and straightforward shelter because it is freezing cold. So if you really enjoyed this video, please give this video a very good like. Subscribe for more flat videos in the future, and I'm really sorry I didn't do any gardening videos in the early part of the week, but luckily enough I've got this one from now on. As always, thank you so much for watching, and bye for now.